Madinat Al-Zahra was quickly smashed and plundered.
These are the telltale signs that the palace was violently destroyed. They're scorch marks on the marble made when the molten lead that supported the joist in the roof melted as the palace was burnt to the ground.
Of course, the history of Spain would have been very different if Medina Al-Zahra had continued to exist, and if the Caliphate had not disappeared.
Rahman III's unique dynasty had come to a terrible end.
And in the north of the country, another religious power was eyeing up the rich lands of Al-Andalus. Its name was Christendom.
Al-Andalus's golden age was over. By the beginning of the 11th century, Abd al-Rahman's dynasty in Cordoba had collapsed into chaos and disorder. But what happened next was even more devastating. In 1095, Pope Urban II made a call to arms. He ordered a war to remove Islam from the Holy Lands.
Pope Urban's speech is agitprop at its finest. When an armed attack is made against an enemy, let there be one resounding cry from the soldiers of God. It is the will of God. It is the will of God.
The Crusades had begun. It didn't take long for this zealous warrior mentality to rouse the Christians of northern Spain. And what followed was as treacherous as any of the Crusades in the Holy Lands. The Christians had always held on to the far north of the country, and now they were gaining ground. Al-Andalus had fragmented into a hodgepodge of isolated city-states. Suddenly, Muslim Spain found herself under attack. Her palaces were raided and her cities laid to siege. Between the 11th and the 13th centuries, an army of Christian kings took over the lands of Al-Andalus. Every year, this conflict is reenacted in towns across Spain. This, the victor's version of history, glamorizes what was actually a dishonorable and dirty war.
When the Christian comes, they break everything. They come in summer when it is almost dry. They put it fire. After that, they cut the trees. The agriculture of Al-Andalus was very sophisticated. The more sophisticated is something, the more fragile it is. So the more easy it is to break it. Irrigation. If you break a canal, there's no more water. So for some years, people are starving.
So it's a scorched earth policy.
Yes.
Soon, a brutal system of protection rackets emerged.
There is an alternative. You pay me, I don't destroy. I don't burn your house.